Welcome back to TalkNorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. Welcome to our first live show at the Tin Shed Tavern and Pizza. It is in Savage, Minnesota. Phone number 952-736-2444. GPS it. It's in the strip mall. You'll find it. It's a cool place. Lots of space. A lot of people turn out tonight. Thank you all for being here. Please give Michael Russo a round of applause just for being Michael Russo. That was a bit much. You didn't really need to do that much.
Good crowd for a first show.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody who made their way down here. Michael and I made our way from the north and east suburbs, and it feels like it's going to take a long time, but once it clears up. It wasn't
I'm not telling
bad.
you, the longest it took me was the mile leaving my house to get on
That's crazy.
on 94. It was insane.
That's so weird.
Our
Our first groan of the show.
It's just I was just telling somebody on the phone, so I leased my car. And I don't think that when I lived in downtown Minneapolis, how often that I knew how often I had to be in Minneapolis, and so I've already, I'm going to blow through this lease. Yeah. I'm going to be purchasing this car.
Suburban life is a little different.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So,
thanks to our other sponsors, Twill and the Edina Galleria. I got this shirt there. Fixologyrepair.com. Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin, and Bite Squad, bitesquad.com. We'll tell you more about them later. So we're going to get to hockey. But Michael Russo's lifestyle is always the most intriguing part of the show for me. And Michael was telling
nothing's going on.
Michael was telling me about a certain purchase. Do you want to explain your fitness purchase?
Yeah. Well, I was same person. I was talking on Tommy Dahl. I was talking to him on the phone over here, and I was trying to help him get a car with my car guy. And so he goes to me, he goes, "Did you test drive the vehicle?" And I'm like, no, it's the only vehicle I looked at, and I didn't test drive it.
Why not?
And I said it's the same thing. I told him this story. Yesterday I went into this fitness center in Woodbury, and I went in there to buy an exercise bike. And so I just walked up to one of the bikes. I looked at it. I told the guy, can I just have this delivered to me? And he goes, "Do you want to get on it and test drive it?" I'm like, no. So I was in there for 5 minutes, bought about $2,500 worth of freaking exercise equipment, and didn't even get on the thing. So it's going to probably be a coat rack.
I was going to say, it's going to be a nice place to fold your clothes.
So I don't like that. I walked in there and I was just immediately uncomfortable. I don't belong in a fitness center. You know what I mean?
I have no comment.
Yeah. Next.
How often have you done that? What else have you bought?
Oh, everything.
Without trying it out.
The house I bought's the only place I looked. Everything. Yeah, that's me.
So you're telling me you didn't do a lot of research when you bought your candles and your pickles?
My laptop that I bought, my first laptop for the Athletic, it's the first one I grabbed at Best Buy. I could come up with anything.
So if I put some papers in front of you right now, you'll just sign them?
Yeah, definitely. No doubt about it.
We're going to talk later. I got some stuff to sell you. We have a cool thing going on. Brian from Tin Shed is going to give away some wild tickets. That is the right jar, from my perspective. The left jar is a comments and suggestions bowl. Basically, we want to make sure we find a time when it's going to work. New hosts would help, yes, especially new lead host. We want you to be able to get down here. We want you to enjoy the experience. So if it's better for you that we do it later or earlier or on a different day, let us know. We'll kind of let you guys decide when we do the shows. Of course, sometimes it can be dictated by our schedule, but we want to make this as accessible to everybody as possible.
I already said to you or to Brian that we need to move this to Friday night so we can all just immediately leave here and go right to the track.
I like it.
I mean, we were a stone's throw from Canterbury.
That is very true.
So we'll all go hang out in Paul Allen's press box. They'll love me.
Yeah,
So
I've been up there. And just a reminder about Tin Shed, against in Savage, it's close to 13. They have pizza, burgers, appetizers, entrees. They have 3 party rooms. We're taking up one of their big rooms right now. The full-service bar, 17 HD TVs with the NFL ticket, pull tabs, food and drink specials. We're going to tell you more about some upcoming specials next week. We're back here next Wednesday night. Show of hands. Should we aim for 6:15 again, or should we do it a little later? Later, hands up.
Or right time?
A couple later, earlier? Right time?
Everybody here?
Okay.
All right, good.
Well, that's easy.
This is a Buffalo bar, obviously. This place must have been rocking at one point last season.
Oh, it's a Bills bar.
Yeah.
I have never been in a Bills bar outside of Buffalo before.
Yeah. It's a Bills bar. They had a pretty good win against the Vikings fairly recently.
Yes, they did. I do remember that one.
Yeah. Special guest next week coming, besides my mother, by the way. I probably should announce this because it's not a guaranteed set in stone, but I believe Lou Nanny will be stopping by and joining the show. He told me that he has wanted to check out this restaurant in a long time, and maybe even the podcast live. So we'll see.
So you're telling me that your mother gets second billing behind Lou Nanny?
No, she'll be here too.
Yeah, 2. Yeah. You're just adding her on the end. Why aren't you telling us that your mother's going to be here? And by the way, Lou Nanny might come as well.
She's going to sit with Brian Dahl. So
let's start with some hockey here.
Yeah.
What do you make of the St. Louis Blues?
Well, I mean, you always have this old Thanksgiving, U.S. at Thanksgiving. If you're not in the playoffs by U.S. Thanksgiving, you have no way of making the playoffs. That's the old adage in hockey. This team was the last place team in the NHL on January 3rd. It's absolutely ridiculously crazy to me. And if you remember the first month under Craig Berube, they were still struggling big time, but then they got a goalie and all of a sudden confidence in that locker room. But you look up and down that lineup, there were a lot of guys that had poor regular seasons. Tarasenko wasn't the same. Jaden Schwartz has, I think, more goals in the postseason than he had in the regular season. And right now, they are playing out of their minds. They're healthy. They're obviously getting great coaching as well from Berube, and they're the kind of that stereotypical. Go into the playoffs on a roll, and you're going to make something happen. And this has been unbelievable. Obviously, San Jose got immensely injured in this series, with obviously Pavelski being banged up, and Erik Karlsson having the groin injury, and Meyer as well, and Hurdle, and all these guys. So that didn't help. But for that team to psychologically overcome that awful end to game, was it 2 on the hand pass? And not let that game 3, and not let that absolutely overtake the series, and then reel off 3 wins in a row. It's very, very impressive.
We have a microphone up here by Brandon. Feel free to come up and ask a live question anytime. You all know how it works. I expect Vicky to be up there very soon. I'll also do a couple Twitter questions while we're doing the show. What do you make of Berube? Is he the cause, or is he the guy who just happens to be there when the team rallies?
Obviously I'm biased. I think everybody knows I respect Mike Yeo, but obviously he's done a phenomenal job. I think he went in there with a no hold. He holds people accountable. I think Tarasenko is equally as accountable as anybody on that team, and he's just got this way about him that he's also a scary, intimidating player. Like, I don't know if anybody realizes or remembers him as a player, but he was one tough SOB. I mean, scary. And even when you see him on the bench, I think if he's on the other side of a desk from you and you're called into his office, you're listening to him. He's liable to hit you on the head with a stick. So he's done a great job. What's really coincidental about this is that before they hired, after they got rid of Hitch and brought in Mike Yeo, and then all of a sudden they brought Craig Berube to sit on Mike Yeo's bench. A lot of people figured that Craig Berube was going to be the heir apparent. He had a really quality time out in the minors, and I think that a lot of people thought that Craig Berube was going to be the next coach of the Blues, and there was just one guy in between Hitch and Berube. I talked to Hitch today about another subject that you'll all read about tomorrow in The Athletic, but I mean, he just thinks that team right now is just. This Boston team is pretty good, but he just thinks the momentum right now could be with the Blues.
And what does this mean for Mike Yeo? Is he just going to be?
Well, he's on the Philadelphia Flyers bench, and I think that he realized that he had to go back to being an assistant coach. And there's no crime in that. I mean, Dan Bylsma won a cup, and he's back on the bench. And so that stuff happens, but you're right. It doesn't have the great look, obviously, when you're fired and all of a sudden the team that you coach went to the Stanley Cup final. But that's far from the first time that's ever happened. I mean, I was in New Jersey once when on the morning of our game against the Florida Panthers game against New Jersey Devils. I can't remember if it was Robbie Ftorek or Larry Robinson was fired, and that year was 2000, and they went on to the Stanley Cup final. So that Larry was the coach of that team, so it must have been Ftorek, I believe, that was fired. So, it just this stuff does happen, and I don't think that if you put Doug Armstrong's hand on a Bible that he ever would have thought that this possibly could have happened.
We're going to go to some live questions here. Do want to thank Twill in the Edina Galleria. Not that far from here, really. I was there the other day. I'm going back this weekend to pick up some stuff that they custom fit for me. Check it out. Scott Dayton's been great for us, and you can get everything from really high-end fancy stuff to just stuff you'll wear on the golf course.
Jim usually doesn't like to shop for clothes. I don't like it when he shops for clothes either, because he used to buy stuff I'd want to throw out. That's why I'm so glad he's found Twill in the Edina Galleria. He likes shopping there because of the comfortable environment and the friendly staff. He finds clothes that actually fit him properly and are high-quality brands that will look great for years, whether he's golfing or working. Our favorites so far are Peter Millar, Johnny O, and Barber. We spend our money at Twill because we love the clothes and we love the no-pressure shopping. Drop by Twill in the Edina Galleria for the best shopping experience and best clothes you'll find in the Twin Cities.
All right, Bert, fire away.
Okay. First of all, I don't want this to sound creepy, but I've missed you guys.
It already sounds creepy.
We've missed you too, Bert.
Yeah, there you go.
That was very sincere the way he said that.
I know.
You could tell.
No, he's my new wrestling.
He's broken
logo.
up.
Yeah.
When WrestleMania comes to U.S. Bank Stadium, I knew how.
You a wrestling guy?
No, well, I was second row at WWE in Des Moines. We talked about this. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's like
I tend to tune you out.
Yeah.
So,
what's up?
Nothing. I have a question. We went down to Iowa to see the playoff game,
right.
And wanted to know if there was any concern in the Minnesota organization about the way Greenway played, and then on the flip side, are they really thrilled with the way Cunnin went in and played?
Yeah, well, to go with the positive first, because God knows I'm always positive. Cunnin was fabulous, and you're right. I mean, Paul Fenton. It was funny when Paul was in my Q&A, was kind of ripping on them for not playing well down there. I'm like, well, Cunnin, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah, let's give Cunnin credit. So he was specifically talking about Greenway and Donato. And Cunnin just does what he always does. He works his absolute butt off and was tremendous. And that's a great sign for next season. But you're right. It is. We've talked about this on the podcast the last couple episodes. Donato and Greenway were not good down there. It is a concern. And it's a twofold concern, because you're concerned if they went down there and just felt entitled that they shouldn't have been there and just weren't trying. So that's a problem. And then you're concerned if they just were down there and stunk. And so you couple that with the way that both of them ended the season. It is a concern coming into next year. And they've got to be better. I mean, Donato's an interesting player. I mean, he's got a great shot, great release, but last 14 games this season, he was not very good. He's bounced off the puck pretty easily. I think this is a huge summer for him to realize, and when he looks at the depth chart of this team, how important he's going to be to this franchise next year. He's got to play well. And same thing with Greenway. These guys, there's a lot expected from them. They're young still, but the way that they played in Iowa is absolutely a concern.
Thank you, Bert. Appreciate it. All right, Vicky, bring the manifesto up to the table.
I hear from Philip every day. He's missed you guys.
Even without the live shows?
Yes.
Is Clyde worried?
It's good.
Okay.
Hey, how did Philip think that Granlund played for the Nashville Predators down the stretch?
He didn't have much to say about it, because he didn't want to hear about how he wasn't an elite.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my favorite part of the last live shows at Delano, and I almost
when you
fell
blew
off
up.
When I fell off the chair because Philip was calling Granlund a star.
Well,
sorry,
let's take it easy on Mary. Let her get a couple.
Be careful, Mary is here.
Yeah.
Don't be nice. Be nice. But I do have a question from Philip. If the Blues were to win the cup, would Yo get his name on the cup?
No.
Will he get a ring?
They theoretically could give him one. I don't know if he'd accept one. But that stuff happens more often. I mean, you see players that are traded that somehow the team... Who was it that I just saw recently? It was a Washington Capitals player that's from here, right? It was really cool. And I can't believe I can't think of it. He's from here. But he was traded last year, right before the deadline, to somewhere, and the players met up with him, and they gave him a Stanley Cup ring. That's pretty awesome. I mean,
pretty cool.
I can't imagine that Yo would even want to take something like that. So that's to me very awkward. You fire the coach and then give him a ring.